Okay, today we are going to go over Data About Us Investigation 3.1, which is going to be answering the question, what information does the interquartile range, or IQR, provide about how data vary in a distribution? Essentially what we're going to be working with is the median and then two other numbers that will actually divide our data into 4 equal parts, or quartiles, so that we can effectively look at the distribution between the middle 50%. All right, so let's take a look at question A. A comes from page 61 in our text. So we're going to go over to A, and what we're looking for here is simply to find the numbers. So this says that students agreed about being right, means to pour a serving size that is in the middle 50% of the data distribution. So we're looking for the middle 50%, not the upper 50%, not the lower 50%, but the middle 50%. And the students arranged the 12 WDO's data values in order from least to greatest on sticky notes. So what we have here is an order. We have a set that has 12 in a set of 12. So this is an even set. Okay, and what that means is that our median is going to come between two of the numbers, between the 6th and the 7th values. So let's go ahead and count over and find our median. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from each side. So that means the median is going to be here because the median comes in the middle. All right, so the value of the median, since it's in an even set, is going to be determined by the mean or average of the two numbers. So we're going to take these two and average them together. So what I want to do is take 104 plus 1.07 and add those together. I'm going to get 11, 1, and then a 2 there. Okay, and since there are two numbers, we're going to divide this by 2, and that's going to get me excuse me, a value of 1.055. So our median number here, the median, is 1.055, and it comes between 1.04 and 1.07. So I'm going to erase this little loop here, and we are going to identify this line as the median. Okay? All right, now it says to identify the lower quartile, or Q1. Its position is located midway between the serving sizes of 0.86 and 0.96. Find the value of the lower quartile. Now, the lower quartile is simply the median of the lowest half of information. So we found the median, and essentially that cuts it into two halves. Now we're going to find the lower quartile, or Q1, and it works the same way. We have 6 pieces of information. Our lower quartile is going to come halfway down the row. So since we have 6, it'll be between the 3rd and 4th. So that number is going to be right here. That's the lower quartile, or Q1. All right, so the value of that is found the same way. We're going to add 0.86 to 0.96. Okay, so that's 12. Carry the 1, 17, 18. Okay, and then we will divide that number by 2. Whoops, divided by 2. And that equals 0.91, or 9100. So the lower quartile is 0.91. And I'll write that up here too, 0.91. All right, so now we have 1, 2 groups over here. So we've effectively cut half of the information into half. And now we're going to find the upper quartile, or Q3. And it's found exactly the same way as the lower quartile, only instead of looking in the lower half of the information, we're going to look in this upper half. Okay, and so it tells us that the position is located midway between the serving sizes of 1.32 and 1.54. So that means that our median for the upper half is right here. So the median would be the upper quartile, or Q3. Okay, and they mean the same thing. Now, same thing. We are going to simply add the two numbers together, 1.54, and we are going to get a total of 2.86. We're going to divide that number by 2, and we get a number that is 1.43. Okay, so the upper quartile has a value of 1.43 servings. So 1.43. Now, we have effectively cut our information into quarters or quartiles because there are 1, 2, 3, 4 different groups of information. Okay, so we've cut them into quartiles now. We have a lower quartile, an upper quartile, and a median. All right, so moving right along. How are the positions of Q1 and Q3 related to the position of the median, sometimes called Q2? So this could also be known as Q2. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to describe how that position is related to the median. Okay, and it's very simple. All right, this is very simple to answer. Okay, the relationship between the quartiles and the median, so for A4, is that the upper quartile, or UQ, or quartile 3, is the median, or the middle of the upper half of data. Okay, and the lower quartile, or Q1, is the middle of the lower quartile, or of the lower half, lower half of data. Okay, so essentially, the upper quartile is the median of the upper half, and the lower quartile is the median of the lowest half. Okay, so what we are going to do now is going to go on to A5. A5 says that the serving size estimates between Q1 and Q3 are in the middle 50% of the data. Do you agree that serving size estimates in the middle 50% are about right? Explain. Well, this is pretty easily done. Okay, for example, if we have the middle 50%, what that means is that half of the information comes between the upper and lower quartile. So for A5, we need to agree that we say that the middle 50% of data is between 0.96 and 1.32 servings. Okay. Most of the information or data, okay, because we're talking about the same thing, is above 1 serving. Okay, so, and what I mean by that is if we go up there and we look at our numbers, we actually have more of them. See, here's 1. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. 8 out of the 12 are above 1. Okay, so it's above 1. So these are typical. Okay, so these are typical. And what I mean by that is that since half of the information comes between 0.96 and 1.32, and a large majority of those data points are actually above 1, then we could say that the middle 50%, or the interquartile range, is what is typical. All right, so now we are going to find the interquartile range. A6 says that the interquartile range is the difference between Q3 and Q1. The IQR measures the spread of the middle 50% of data. What is the IQR for the WDOs? Okay, and this is simple. We're going to take, so for A6, we're going to take, just like we find the range with the minimum and maximum, we're going to find the Q3 minus the Q1, and that equals the IQR. Okay, so looking up here in our data, we have an upper quartile of 1.43. So I take 1.43 minus 0.91 was our lower quartile. Okay, right there, 0.91. Okay, so 0.91 was our lower quartile, or Q1. Okay, and then the IQR for this is going to be the difference. So 1.43 minus 0.91 is 0.52. So 0.52, or 52 hundredths of a serving. Okay, and that is the IQR. The IQR has a spread of about 0.52. And so really it's not that varied. If we look up here, we're talking about this part right here. Notice how they all, with the exception of this, 0.96, is above 1. And they're all within 32 hundredths of 1, with the exception of this one, and it's only 4 hundredths away from 1. So the IQR is really not that spread. All right, go back and watch this as many times as you need to. Please make sure to write the word cat on Tuesday of this week, and we will talk to you in class.